I'll call the meeting to order. Town of Farmington Inland Wetlands Commission meeting for Wednesday, October 5th. This is Secretary Ned Stashen as the acting chairman for the meeting. Can you call the roll call, please, Bruce?
We'll do that. Robert Hannon, Richard Berlandi, David Fox.
I'm here.
Robert Eisner.
Here.
Neil Kelsey.
I'm here.
Mark Simpson.
Here.
And Ned Stashen.
Here.
And the alternate commissioners, Robert Canto and Emily Brick. All right, Chair, it's all yours.
Okay. Due to one of the members, one of the applicants attending, waiting for one of her contractor, without any objection, I'm going to move on to item 3.
Well, hold on, Ned. I don't see any. All I see is the applicant on for that one. So I think we'll have to continue with 30 Hatters until the engineer gets on. All right.
Okay.
So we'll just continue with that one. If there's something that the commission has that they can't answer, we have to come back. We'll do that. But
Okay.
I guess we can proceed as is. All right.
Bruce, I'm not sure if Bill can come on tonight. He notified me this evening, so
Oh, okay.
yeah.
So who's gonna do it? You?
Yeah.
All right. Chair.
I mean, I hope there's not too many questions and I am able to answer it. But
No, I'll help you along, Chair. If you don't mind,
Thank
then we
you.
can go back to what we were saying. If you want
Okay.
to
Perfect.
make a motion
For
to move 3 to number 1.
okay. All right. I'll make entertain a motion to revise the agenda for number 3 to number 1.
So moved by Dave.
Okay. And a second.
Second by Eisner.
Okay. All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Oh, great. Let me jump to that one then. 3. There we go.
Oh, and also for the record, I just want to say that I wasn't here for the September 21st meeting, but I did fully review the video on the town website, and so I can sit for those items.
Great. Thank you. Thank you, Chair.
Okay. So 2 Twin Ponds Drive. Can the applicant just give a general description?
I am requesting that we make a modification to the previous approval to just move the water service a couple of feet into my property instead of the public right of way, because again, it's pure regulations. We can't run water service on public right of way. So I'm requesting that we just move a few feet back right onto my property.
Okay.
If everyone read the agenda reviews, we've been working pretty long hours on this with Hallery, the state health department, as well as Connecticut Water. And the way they had it shown before is the green line, and you could see where it comes off the main line, curves, runs along the right of way, and cuts back in. They won't let them do that per the state law. They have to come off at a 90-degree angle out of the property. So that's what this shows. Comes out into the right of way and then follows along on their property back in. More or less, it follows the same line. The only difference is it does cross into the small portion of the conservation easement here. I did show everybody in here. There is a statement in here that allows such things like this to happen during building. So the grantor reserves the right to enter the property for purpose of constructing and maintaining any improvements, including drainage structures which are required or permitted by the approval granted by the Farmington Inland Wetlands Commission. Hence why we're back to you guys. I guess also we're making a motion. I don't think this is a slight modification. So maybe this is ancillary, so we can just approve it tonight. That would help them out to get this thing started and get over to the house so they can get into the home.
Okay, well, I guess I'll go for any questions. Mark, do you have any questions?
No, I don't.
Okay. Dave Fox?
Just a couple of quick ones.
Sure.
It looks like the blue line is about halfway closer to the wetlands red line beneath it. I was just wondering, I can't really tell how many feet separates
The
the line
wetlands,
from the wetlands edge, just approximately.
let's take a look here. Find the line. If this is 27 feet, let me see here. What's this? I can't. That's 13 feet there. So I would say it's got to be stupid thing. Locked up again. I hate when this does this. It's probably 5 feet or so.
Okay. And just one other question, there's a portion where it says silt fence only, as opposed to the fence and the sock. I
Mhm.
was wondering why that was.
That was on the, they just carried that over from the original plan, but I do have that, I think, in my agenda review, that has to be silt sock as well.
Okay, thank you. I'm done.
All right.
Okay. Yeah, because just along those lines, the silt fence with straw wattle backer is,
Oh, does it?
or no, it says silt fence only in some parts, and it says
Right here,
then there's,
yeah.
silt
Yeah,
fences.
so over
So,
here.
but we'll be going with the silt fence and straw wattle at both locations, right?
Yep.
Okay. Neil?
Nothing from me, thanks.
Okay. Robert Eisner?
No questions. It looks like a slight modification, necessary change without substantive change in impact.
Okay. Yeah, I would agree. I was a little, oh, did I get everybody? Rich Berlandy?
No,
Oh,
he's not here.
He's up. Okay.
But you got everybody, yes.
Okay. So is this out of the swale of the, because I see
The
this,
Yeah, the swale is here. So they were gonna be running it parallel to the swale and then actually
And then
cutting
cross.
across in the same spot. So
Okay.
the only real change is right along the edge of the road. It's gonna be in a portion of the easement here.
Okay. All right, it does seem like a minor change, and it's certainly necessary to get water to the property. So I don't have any further questions on it or concerns.
Okay.
The chair will make a motion to approve the revision, adhering to the recommendations from the town agenda review.
So moved by Mark.
And a second.
Dave will second.
All right, we have a motion and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion passes.
All right. Thank you, everybody. Hillary, you're all set?
Excellent, thank you.
Give us a call. Okay, thank you.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Okay, now we'll go to 30 Hatters Lane.
Yes, sir. Let me grab that, put that up on the screen. All right. Little refresher, who wants Bruce or Kent, whoever wants to give a little refresher.
Well, Kent is on. I'll let him do it since I missed the previous meeting.
Okay. Are you there, Kent?
Yes.
Great. If you give, just give the commission a little overview of what you're doing. I got it on the screen. I'm not sure if you can see that.
Yeah, we have an erosion problem with the stream bank in the back, and we were just gonna put some armament along the sides of it and along the bottom of it.
And for the commission, this
Okay.
this actually captures both road runoff and runoff off of Diamond Glen. It gets piped out right here in an open swale through here across some properties and then eventually into a Dorset Pond.
Okay, I'll start with my question that I had from the review of the video of the minutes. There was a like a small pedestrian bridge that was shown in one of the photos. Yeah, there you go. Is that going to be replaced as part of this, or is that coming out permanently? What's going to happen with that?
I'm not 100% sure. We haven't discussed. It was just a couple planks, I believe, to get to the back corner of their property.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, we would like it replaced because that is our property at the back and we would have no access otherwise to get to it.
Okay. So then, well, I guess to Kent is, what would be, if you're going to replace that, what would be the footing for whatever is going to be on top of that?
I don't
mean,
think that elaborate of a bridge. We'd probably just put down a 4x4 pressure treated post and lay it sideways and just put some, I think they're just 2x12 planks pressure treated across it.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah. Something very simple.
Okay.
Yes.
I just want to make sure there wasn't anything more extensive that had to have a footing, a poured footing or something like that.
No, I think we would just put a couple dead men on either side of it and just screw it down to that.
Okay. That was the only question I had. I'll go through the committee. Mark, any further questions?
No, no further questions.
Dave?
No questions.
Neil?
No questions.
Robert?
No questions.
Okay. I've already had my question answered. So we accepted the application last time. So I would, did we,
It's just be a motion to approve at this point.
okay,
If you accept it.
Should we just-
Oh, significance, I apologize.
yeah.
Significance.
I mean, seeing it's just a repair of an existing drainage waterway, I don't see how this is a significant use, and it should be a retained right. I'll do we have concurrence on the committee? Mark,
I agree.
Dave,
I agree.
Neil,
Agree.
okay, Robert.
I agree.
All right. So then I'll entertain a motion to formally say that this is not a significant use of not a significant project for the property.
So moved by Robert that it's not a significant activity.
Okay,
Second by Mark.
very good. Thank you. All those in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Okay, now we'll have I'll entertain a motion to accept the to approve the application.
So moved by Robert with the condition that the applicant work with the town staff on soil and erosion control and any details that need to be changed during the construction.
Very good. Can I have a second, please? Did I get a second? I thought I heard something, but I'm not sure.
No, I didn't hear one.
I'll second it, Dave.
Okay. Thank you. We have a motion that's been made and seconded. All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
All right, Bruce and Suzanne, you're all set. Just do me a favor if you want to give me a buzz when you guys are getting ready to start it. We'll come out, we'll do an inspection for the erosion control before we get started.
All
All
right.
right.
Thank you, Bruce. Thank you, committee. Appreciate it. Have a great evening, all.
Thank you,
You're
sir.
good.
Have a good night.
Good evening, all.
All right, now we'll go on to number 2, Carry Holdings for 114 Red Oak Hill Road.
Give me 1 second. I gotta load that all in now. Here, presentation. Here we go.
Thank you, Bruce. For the record, Brian Panico with Harry Cole and Son, here on behalf of the applicant, Carrier Holdings. Also here is Ian Cole, registered soil scientist for the project. I'll briefly go through the property. So this is a 3.16 acre parcel. Currently has an existing house on it. It's in an R30 zone. Majority of the site is wooded. Fronts on Red Oak Hill Road, which is to the south. And then residential properties to the east, west, and the north, more the southeast there. And then the trail runs along the eastern edge. And then there's a strip of town of Farmington property between the trail and this lot 3 there, as you can see on the screen. So the application is for a 4-lot subdivision. All the lots have a minimum area greater than 30,000 square feet. We have conservation easements proposed along the perimeter of lot 2 and 3. It's about 10% of the parcel area there. This will have public water and sewer from the property to the north, which is also owned by Carrier. And that project was approved a couple years ago now, and they've just kind of started construction on that. There is a small pocket of wetlands in the eastern portion of the property. It's not actually on this subject property. It's kind of straddles the town of Farmington owned property and then state of Connecticut owned property, which is the trail there. There's a drainage pipe roughly in the center of that wetland area that runs underneath the trail and discharges water to New Britain Avenue. That pipe is slightly elevated off of the ground. So essentially that area where the wetland is and some of that area surrounding it generally creates kind of like a little ponding area, little detention area before that water can get released out of there. So we have no wetland impacts, obviously, as the wetlands are off of our property, but we are proposing some work within 150 feet. So some of our design is within that upland review area. The majority of it is the detention basin, which I believe that our total is about 16,000 square feet of upland review area, and 350 square feet of the upland review area is where there's the corner of the house on lot 3. The rest of it is just the rear yards of lots 3 and 4. And like I said, mostly the detention basin, which will be part of this project and maintained by the project. And there is a small change that we made that's kind of shown on this plan versus what was shown on the other plans, which is just instead of having the outlet for the detention basin piped to the bottom of the toward the wetlands there, we've brought that back and put in an infiltration level spreader. Reason being, we didn't know about the wetland pocket until after we had kind of done all of the design. We went out there to actually look at that culvert pipe that runs underneath the trail. Looked at Bruce went out there actually as well. Looked at the site, said it, looked like it was possible that maybe there were some wetlands out there. We did have a soil scientist, Ian Cole, go out and look at it. He flagged all that up. So now we've made some revisions to how we're going to handle that drainage in order to best protect the wetlands there. And so that infiltration level spreader will just take a lot of the velocity out of the flows coming from that basin and really slow down that water and let it kind of trickle out and flow into the wetlands. So the area that those last two pictures were of is roughly the area where the detention basin is going, that portion of the property. And then some of these pictures here that are kind of going through. Bruce, you can correct me if I'm wrong, it's kind of like just some of the, almost along the property line to the east in that general area as we get to the wetlands by the trail. So I will turn it over to Ian Cole, who is with us tonight to kind of discuss the wetlands, his findings, and any of their significance. So, Ian.
Sounds good. Good evening, everybody. For the record, Ian Cole, professional soil scientist, professional wetland scientist. I was hired by Carrier Development, the applicant, to visit the site to perform a wetland survey to find out if there were any jurisdictional inland wetlands or watercourses on the subject property. My field survey was completed in early September, just a couple of weeks ago. Upon the site, it's a 3.75 acre wooded site on a westerly sloping hillside. There's an existing house as shown here on lot 1. As Brian had said before, no inland wetlands and watercourses were observed on the property. However, just adjacent, as Brian had said, straddling town property and Connecticut state-owned property. Essentially, there's a small little depression. It's a topographic low spot in the landscape. This wetland essentially was created when they put in the original railroad line, cutting off the topographic low point and creating a man-made depression. So basically, that whole hillside drains down to that depression area. And as Brian said, there's an outlet pipe that's elevated a couple of feet above the depression, and that would convey flows, east to the other side of the rail trail. And I believe on the other side of the rail trail, I don't think it's wet. I think if memory serves me right, I was kind of looking at it. The rail trail sits elevated above this wetland by probably 10, 15 feet. And I think on the other side of that, it's very dry, very sandy, kind of stratified sands and gravel. So kind of just daylights and then gets reabsorbed back into the ground as recharge. Some important things to note in my findings. Essentially, if you're looking at this site, there's a drainage divide. Basically, lots 1 and 2, they occur on the western higher elevations of the property. Over here, you have kind of Weathersfield, sandy loam soils. And then right through the center of the property, essentially at elevation 255, which would be lots 3 and 4, the hillside stops and you level out and you're on this very flat glacial lodgement till plain landscape. And essentially, if you go back and look at the 34 aerial photos that Connecticut Deep provides, the lower landscape here that's flat, this used to be an agricultural field. And in this landscape, basically the soils are more moderately well drained and you have a high seasonal water table. And post-agricultural abandonment, if you kind of look at the evidence of the ground conditions, a lot of the landscape on lot 3 and 4 superficially have been moved around. There's berms, there's shallow excavated pits, stockpiling of some material. And basically what this did is it kind of manipulated the surface drainage patterns of the landscape. Basically, seasonally, you have overland flow coming off that steep hillside. It's that flat level till plain that used to be agricultural fields. And there's several berms and excavated pits. And what this does is it creates these conditions where you can get some seasonal surface ponding, embedded within that very flat glacial till plain. We heavily investigated these areas for the presence of hydric soils. And after looking at many soil samples, essentially what you're looking for in that upper foot is some evidence of redoxomorphic features existing. And in this case, they were noticeably absent. And when you get underneath that, 12 to 18 inches of that windblown cap layer that creates those moderately well-drained conditions, you run into sands and gravels again. So basically it's further evidence that suggests that if there's any ephemeral ponding noted in the springtime in these areas, that the hydrology is not driven from exchange of the water table. It's truly from these perch conditions, from the manipulation of these burns and whatnot, moving water off the hillside. Essentially, in looking at this design and talking to Brian and Harry Cole and Sons, they're respecting and managing essentially the overall drainage patterns on the site. So all the water still making its way and is they're maintaining that exit point that's kind of down in that southeastern corner there. So the existing conditions will match, the post-development conditions fairly well.
So to kind of summarize everything here for this project, it's a 4-lot subdivision. We have no wetland impact. There are 16,000 square feet of upland review area. 350 square feet of that upland area is taken up by the corner of that house as shown on lot 3. And then the rest of the upland review area is either the backyard of lot 3, some of the backyard of lot 4, and then the detention basin on site. That detention basin on site is also very shallow. The design for infiltration on this site is very limited. As we know that, as Ian described, possible seasonal high groundwater conditions wouldn't make it ideal. So what we decided to do was size that basin so it's large enough to handle and store all of the roofs. Although we're not piping directly to them, we will let that water still overland flow in the cases of lots 1 and 2, and then using swales and other means get that water down to the basin so that all that water is kind of pre-treated prior to making its way to the wetland itself. Using the outlet control structure, using that infiltration level spreader style, once again, not going to really infiltrate a ton of water given the conditions of the site. However, what it will do is it will stop, instead of having just a pipe, a flared end with water pouring out of it, creating the possibility of erosion, which was the original concern of town staff. This will reduce the velocity of that water as it exits the pond and create more even spread and sheet flow overland back down to that wetland area. If there's any questions for either myself or Mr. Poole, I would be happy to answer them at this time.
Okay, thank you. Questions? We'll start with Mark.
I have no questions at this time.
Okay, Dave.
I was curious about the wetland that's off-site, depression that holds water. Is there any possibility that would act as a vernal pool?
Sure. This is Ian Cole again for the record. No, I mean, due to the ephemeral nature of that wetland, it does not appear that it would hold water for a duration long enough to provide breeding habitat reliably, at least. It looks like, basically it fills up and then subtly kind of bleeds back into the landscape. Essentially what you have here is all the fines have kind of sunk its way down into that low spot in the landscape. So as that slowly permeates through it finally hits that sandy underlying material and then is free draining. So, I mean, essentially it doesn't hold water for long enough. If anything, it would be more of a decoy, but I also don't think there's any other wetland systems nearby that's kind of within its juxtaposition where it would serve any other function either. So.
Okay, thank you. That's all I have.
Okay, Neil.
Nothing at this point, thank you.
Robert.
No questions based on the initial presentation, but I think this would be a good site to do a walk for.
Okay. I know there was a comment by the town to take the drainage off, and I'm looking at the previous rendition, or
I have that right here.
Yeah.
Give me a second. That's right. That's right here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's the change you're talking about, that we took it off the town property and ended it. But I guess I'm confused as which is the one that the drainage is supposed to go through? Is it the wide open spreader, or, I mean, what's the lower elevation? What's the first source of drainage to come out?
So the plan that you see in front of you is what we had submitted, and that was prior to the knowledge of the wetland there. The plan that the presentation drawing is showing an infiltration level spreader on just the subject property due to the wetland being there, and obviously not wanting to discharge a flared end with a splash pad, 5 feet from the wetlands. So the rendition that we would then be proposing at moving forward would be to do this with a level spreader at the property line to ease the flow back to the wetland.
Okay, all right, yeah, I see that now. And this drains underneath the rails to trails with a pipe that empties on the other side, and then it just kind of dissipates. I know there's a small area there.
So the so it would flow through that pipe underneath the trail. Then it basically flows between New Britain Avenue and the rails to trails. There is about a 15 or 20 foot section of kind of overgrown grass in that area. It's a little bit depressed there as well, but there's a catch basin adjacent to that pipe, and that also has a pipe with a flared end on it. So the water goes underneath the trail, kind of fills up that little area on the other side of the trail between the trail and New Britain Avenue, and then flows into the drainage system in New Britain Avenue as well. So it is kind of like a low impact design version of conveying the water from this whole area through the trail and downstream.
Okay.
Yeah, here you go. It's shown right here on our GIS. It doesn't show the pipe, but the water would come down, cross the property here, go into a pipe here, and then gets into this pipe system here and gets piped all the way down and outletted out to here, which is over by the trail, then goes underneath the trail and heads out towards the Tungus Mead off property.
Okay, thank you. I can't read the contours on this. Is the elevation on the end of the cul-de-sac lower or higher at the intersection with Red Oak Hill Road?
Oh, it would be lower.
Okay.
Yep. So you basically come off of Red Oak Hill. It makes its way down. It's relatively flat, and then and the low point for the entire road is just before the end of the cul-de-sac.
Okay. So there wouldn't be a lot of runoff coming on off of this road onto Red Oak Hill.
No,
going the other direction.
Other direction, correct.
Okay.
Here's the 266 contour.
Oh, there you go. Okay.
Up the intersection, and it goes all the way up, and the low and the cul-de-sac is at 260, and the low point, correct me if I'm wrong, Brian, is right. Where is it? Where's the low point on this plan? Is it over here? Right here.
So it's
right there, the double basin.
Correct. Yep.
And then goes out to the pond. So.
Correct.
Okay. That's all I think I had for questions. So you're for the 150-foot mark, you're just taking the corner of one house. We'll be in there, and obviously the whole drainage, the whole runoff feeder there, the pond.
Correct.
And then you had mentioned there's going to be a conservation easement in there.
Yes. So we have conservation easements along basically the backside, the northern side of the property, and those match up with the conservation easements on the property, on the neighboring property to the north as well.
Okay. All right. That's all I have for questions. Does everybody else think of anything else? Okay, so Chair will entertain a motion to accept the application.
So moved, Mark.
So moved by Robert.
Okay. So one of you's a move and one of you's a second.
Mark
Uh,
moved, Robert second.
Okay, thank you. All those in favor of accepting the application, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion passes. What are our feelings towards a site visit? Mark?
I could see us doing it. You know, I could go either way. I mean, at this point,
Yeah.
I don't see this as being impacting the wetlands area, so I could go either way.
Okay, Dave?
Yeah, I'm kind of on the fence too, but I'd go if people want to go.
Yeah. Neil?
Yeah, I don't think a walkthrough is necessary, but you know, whatever the majority wants to do.
Rob?
I would lean towards the site work, but I'm fine if the rest of the commission is negative on the site work.
Yeah, I'm kind of in the same spot. I have mixed feelings. It's the limits of the wetland are so small, and I mean, for all the times I've ridden on this on the rails to trails there, I've never noticed that there was a wetland type area there. I guess we'll take a vote, or actually, I don't know. We kind of, well, people were on the fence, so I guess I'll ask you to decide. I don't think it's necessary. Based on the area being very small, and it's just it's kind of squeezed in between this development and the rails to trails, and it's on town land. So I don't know. I would say it's not necessary, but we'll let's get a yay or nay from everybody. Mark?
I would say nay.
Dave?
Yeah, I could live with that. Hey,
Okay. Neil?
No.
Okay. Rob?
You've swayed me. I'll make it unanimous. Nay.
All right. Okay. All right. Thank you. So we'll vote is for no site walk. And what's our next?
Either determine a significance.
Yeah,
at this
determine
meeting.
significance.
Yep.
Well, do you want to do that? Might as well do that now.
Yeah, we can either do it now or next meeting. I mean, unless the commission feels it's a significant project and they want to see a public hearing, we'd want to get that going sooner than later.
Yeah, this is Robert. I'll make a motion that it's a non-significant regulated activity. It's all buffer zone impact and not in the wetland itself, which is off-site. So I move non-significant regulated activity.
And this is Mark. I'll second that.
Yeah, I would agree with that myself. So we have a motion that's been made and seconded. This is a non-significant inactivity. All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, the motion passed that this is not a significant activity on the property.
All right.
So we'll finish it off next week, probably. Our next meeting, probably.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Going on to old business. I know we had a presentation on the 21st that I reviewed, and some additional. Well, actually, I guess we should ask the applicant if they want to make any additional.
No, the hearing's closed, Ned. Unfortunately, unfortunately, they can't present anything else at this point.
Oh, okay. All right. So then, we can either, I know, Bob Hannon had some, was involved in this. I'm sure if we, really want to act on this tonight, or if we want to, wait for Rob's return at the next meeting. What are
If
people's
you don't mind
feelings?
me, yeah, Chair, if you don't mind me
Sure.
just jumping in here. The only thing I'd like to do is I sent out the resolutions, the draft resolutions, one for an approval and one for a denial. So just if anyone has any feedback, it'd be great. If anyone has any questions or comments, we could talk about those tonight. If they're looking for some changes, I can take care of those now, get those back out to everybody. So then we can, so both the applicant and both the commissioners can review. Based on my count, you have to act at the next meeting, at the 19th.
Okay.
Unless the applicant gives us an extension of time. But we've got like 2 meetings to address this, and it'll be this meeting and the next. So I think probably it'd be best to go over if anyone has any.
All right, yeah. So does anybody
over
have any
now.
questions on Bruce's recommendations or the two, either the pass or fail renditions that he sent out? Any questions on those? Okay, well, we'll still have, I think we will wait on this until the next meeting. So please make sure you review the recommendations and come up with a decision. And if if you want to see something worded differently in the motions, please by all means contact Bruce and or for any clarification if you have any questions on it. Contact
If you don't mind,
Bruce.
yep.
Yeah,
If
go
you
ahead,
don't
Bruce.
mind, if you don't mind, just contact me directly. Don't do a reply all to the whole commission. So we'll deal with that on a one-on-one basis, please.
Good. Any other comments? Any questions on that? Okay, seeing none, we'll move on to the planner's report.
Nothing on the planner's report for wetlands, Chair.
Very good.
And Ned,
Chair,
this is Robert.
Yep.
Ned, just on a procedure motion, do we need a motion to table the self-storage application, or are we good? Bruce, do you know, do we need a motion?
No, we're good. We're good.
We'll just hang.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, thank you. It's always good to check. Chair, entertain a motion to approve the minutes of September 21st for the inland wetlands. Oh, and the September 25th site walk notes.
The only, Ned, this is Mark. The only thing
Yep.
I want to suggest about the sidewalk is it listed me as attending. I was there in spirit, but not in no. So it does mention my name, but I was not attending.
I'm sorry.
that day.
I will fix
Okay.
that. I'll revise.
Very good. Okay, Chair, entertain a motion to, well, actually, we'll
We'll
do
do
them
them,
one at a time.
separately.
Yeah, since
Yeah,
since
please.
the amendment on the site walk. All right, so for the inland wetlands, September 21st meeting, Chair, entertain a motion to approve the minutes.
So moved by Robert Eisner.
Okay, thank you.
Dave will
And a
second.
second. Okay, motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? I'm going to abstain from that vote since I was not at the meeting, but I did watch the video. Okay, now, Chair, entertain a motion to accept the site walk notes from September 25th as amended by Mark Simpson's comment that he was not there. Are there any other comments on the minutes for the site walk? Okay, seeing none, Chair, entertain a motion to approve the sidewalk minutes as amended for September 25th.
So moved by Dave.
And a second.
Second by,
Who
Okay,
was the
moved,
Oh,
That was
sorry.
Rob Eisner.
Got it.
Okay. Motion to approve the minutes as amended for the September 25th sidewalk. It's been made and seconded. All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
This is Mark. I'll abstain.
Abstained? Okay. Motion passes. And I think that's it for
That's it for wetlands.
wetlands.
I'll make a motion. to
Thank
close-
you. Take a motion to close the meeting at 7:45.
So
Or I'll
moved.
just close.
So moved,
I'll-
so moved
I'll-
by Eisner,
All right. Motion been made and seconded to
noting
close
the
the
chair's
meeting.
efficiency.
Yes.
Noting the chair's efficiency.
All right, very good. All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
All right, thank you. Moving on to the Conservation Commission.
Conservation Commission, I don't have anything in terms of other business. The only thing I have is on the planners report we received after the agenda went out. Put it up everywhere. Akawiki's having another environmental conference. It's October 29th at the Best Western in North Haven. So going, where is it right here? Celebrating the Inland Wetlands Watercourse Act. So they'll have a bunch of workshops on invasive plants, wetlands, laws, updates, riparian zones, pollinators, bears, and more. Oh my. So it is not an online like it was last time. So they just asked that we register by October 10th. So we got it. We didn't get it too long ago. So if you don't mind, if anyone is interested, please let me know and I could register you. The town will actually pay for that. So if someone can get to me, back to me by the end of the week, that'd be great.
What was the date on that?
October, well, I gotta know by October 10th, but it's
Right.
October 29th.
29th. Okay. And this is, I know we, several of us went to a meeting. I think it was the same thing, the Connecticut Inland Wetlands Watercourse or Environmental Conference.
Yep.
We went to, I don't know, 2-3 years ago. We went
Mhm.
before
Yeah.
the pandemic.
Yeah, and then the last one was an online one. So
Okay.
it's like an online course that they did. So this one is in person in the Best Western in North Haven.
Yeah. Last time we were in Cromwell, I remember.
Yeah.
Okay, so if anybody interested in attending, please let Bruce know by the end of the week. Anything else? Oh, the minutes. Chair will entertain a motion to approve the minutes of September 21st.
So moved by Eisner.
And a second.
Give a second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Oh, I take that back. I'm going to abstain. Okay, motion passes. And is there anything else for the Conservation Commission?
That's all I have.
Very good. So I guess we'll close the conservation meeting and we'll see everybody in 2 weeks.